Stop talking about what the good man is like and just be one. Give your heart to the trade you have learnt and draw refreshment from it. No more roundabout discussions of what makes a good man. Be one. Nothing happens to any man that he is not formed by nature to bear. Worship is about being able to come before God, and it is about understanding who He is. He is God. So when you are worshiping God, you know right away that it isn't about you, but it is about Him. A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. We wanted a life which, through its own conditions and purposefulness, would engender naturally order, leisure, character, stability, and that would also, in a larger sense, be aesthetically enjoyable. How do we change the world? One random act of kindness. Nothing is more scandalous than a man that is proud of his humility. If you don't like the road you're walking, start paving another one. We please Him most, not by frantically trying to make ourselves good, but by throwing ourselves into His arms with all our imperfections and believing that He understands everything and still loves us. The supreme happiness of life consists in the conviction that one is loved for one's own sake. Let us say, rather, loved in spite of oneself. You have heard that it was said, "Love your neighbor and hate your enemy." But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Something I learned early on is to not worry about what I can't control. But what I can control is my attitude, my effort, and my focus every single day. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. The sexual embrace can only be compared with music and with prayer. Good humor and laughter are far too wonderful not to come straight from the heart of God. A human mind is a wandering mind, and a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. We humans have lost the wisdom of genuinely resting and relaxing. We worry too much. We don't allow our bodies to heal, and we don't allow our minds and hearts to heal. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? Their impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies. Something revolutionary happens in the heart when you recognize that every single person you will ever meet is made in the image of God. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Live out your life in truth and justice, tolerant of those who are neither true or just. When one door of happiness closes, another opens, but often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened for us. Swiftly, the remembrance of all things is buried in the gulf of eternity. Beauty is eternity gazing at itself in a mirror, but you are eternity, and you are the mirror. Practice really hearing what people say. Do your best to get inside their minds. If the sun comes up, I have a chance. Everything is only for a day, of that which remembers and that which is remembered. I would believe only in a God who could dance, and when I saw my devil, I found him serious, thorough, profound, and solemn. It was the spirit of gravity. Through him, all things fall. You are a little soul, carrying about a corpse, as Epictetus used to say. Don't go on discussing what a good person should be. Just be one. God will test you because he wants you to grow up. He wants you to mature. He wants you to develop a walk with him that is not based on your fluctuating emotions, but on your commitment to him as you learn to walk by faith. If you live up to your privilege, the angels cannot be restrained from being your associates. True freedom is giving someone the permission to misunderstand you. Know what sparks the light in you so that you, in your own way, can illuminate the world. God put us here on this carnival ride. We close our eyes, never knowing where it'll take us next. I don't want to cover up anymore. Not my face, not my mind, not my soul, not my thoughts, not my dreams, not my struggles, not my emotional growth, nothing. There's a lot that is good in your life. Don't take it for granted. Don't get so focused on the struggles that you miss the gift of today. In an expression of true gratitude, sadness is conspicuous only by its absence. Everything that exists is, in a manner, the seed of that which will be. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. When you accept that there are certain truths in your life that you can't change, it allows you to embrace your new reality and move forward. There's nothing more insufferable than people who boast about their own humility. Carry out a random act of kindness with no expectation of reward, safe in the knowledge that one day someone might do the same for you. All is ephemeral, both what remembers and what is remembered. I sometimes get very angry at God, and I do not feel guilty about it, because the anger is an affirmation of faith. You cannot get angry at someone who is not there. People seem not to see that their opinion of the world is also a confession of character. Yes, you must live life beautifully and not allow the spirit of the world that makes gods out of power, riches, and pleasure make you forget that you have been created for greater things, to love and to be loved. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. Even though you don't know what will happen tomorrow, you can absolutely be sure of your ultimate destination. I will hold you by your right hand, and afterward I will take you into glory. How many together, with whom I came into the world, are already gone out of it? In Hippocrates, having cured many sicknesses, fell sick himself and died. Happiness is spiritual, born of truth and love. It is unselfish. Therefore, it cannot exist alone, but requires all mankind to share it. God seldom calls us for an easier life, but always calls us to know more of Him and drink more deeply of His sustaining grace. He determines the number of the stars and calls them each by name. If you seek peace, be still. If you seek wisdom, be silent. If you seek love, be yourself. Make your own Bible. Select and collect all the words and sentences that in all your readings have been to you like the blast of a trumpet. Life is a warfare and a stranger's sojourn, and after fame is oblivion. Let God's promises shine on your problems. Bear in mind that the measure of a man is the worth of the things he cares about. A little flesh, a little breath, and the reason to rule all that is myself. I attack ideas. I don't attack people. Some very good people have some very bad ideas. And if you can't separate the two, you gotta get another day job. The whole universe is change, and life itself is but what you deem it. If you believe in a God who controls the big things, you have to believe in a God who controls the little things. It is we, of course, to whom things look little or big. People look at me and see a calm, cool guy on the sidelines, and I want them to know that my Christian faith affects my coaching and everything that I do. However difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. I believe God made me for a purpose, but He also made me fast, and when I run, I feel His pleasure. And above all, remember that the meaning of life is to build a life as if it were a work of art. Yesterday, I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today, I am wise, so I am changing myself. We have a saying in Tibet, if a problem can be solved, there is no use worrying about it. If it can't be solved, worrying will do no good. The worst part of holding the memories is not the pain. It's the loneliness of it. Memories need to be shared. You're lovely even with your scars, lovely the way you are. So open up your lovely heart and don't try so hard. Whatever anyone does or says, I must be emerald and keep my color. Difficult to see, always in motion, is the future. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. All of us are creatures of a day, the rememberer and remembered alike. You can always give without loving, but you can never love without giving. After 10,000 affronts, he loves you as infinitely as ever. Two things fill the mind with ever new and increasing admiration and awe. The oftener and the more steadily we reflect on them, the starry heavens above and the moral law within. Life's barely long enough to get good at one thing, so be careful what you get good at. Emotions are like passing storms, and you have to remind yourself that it won't rain forever. If unwilling to rise in the morning, say to thyself, I await to do the work of a man. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. If we learn to open our hearts, anyone, including the people who drive us crazy, can be our teacher. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. Everyone deserves a second chance. Practice the pause. When in doubt, pause. When angry, pause. When tired, pause. When stressed, pause. And when you pause, pray. You will face many defeats in life, but never let yourself be defeated. I have been asked hundreds of times in my life why God allows tragedy and suffering. I have to confess that I really do not know the answer totally, even to my own satisfaction. I have to accept, by faith, that God is sovereign, and He is a God of love and mercy and compassion in the midst of suffering. We're an impossibility in an impossible universe. Every man is worth just so much as the things about which he busses himself. To make life a little better for people less fortunate than you. That's what I think a meaningful life is. Living not for oneself, but for one's community. Dream big dreams. Only big dreams have the power to move men's souls. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more in untroubled retreat than in his own soul. In times of stress, the best thing we can do for each other is to listen with our ears and our hearts, and to be assured that our questions are just as important as our answers. The memory of everything is very soon overwhelmed in time. To have been loved so deeply, even though the person who loved us is gone, will give us some protection forever. The pride which is proud of want of pride is the most intolerable of all. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. We are not punished for our anger, we are punished by our anger. Returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Goodness. What defines a good person? Keep to it in everything you do. It is a shame when the soul is first to give way in this life, and the body does not give way. Lord God, you know what you're doing. If you're willing to put yourself and your dreams on the line, at the very least, you'll discover an inner strength you may not have known existed. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Every living organism is fulfilled when it follows the right path for its own nature. Don't seek, don't search, don't ask, don't knock, don't demand. Relax. If you relax, it comes. If you relax, it is there. If you relax, you start vibrating with it. The blazing fire makes flames and brightness out of everything thrown into it. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. If a woman takes your dick in her mouth, that means a woman is happier than penetrative vaginal sex. How ridiculous and how strange to be surprised that anything which happens in life. What we cannot bear removes us from life. What remains can be borne. That it will never come again is what makes life so sweet. I believe in everything until it's disproved. So I believe in fairies, the myths, dragons. It all exists, even if it's in your mind. Who's to say that dreams and nightmares aren't as real as the here and now? Peace is the result of retraining your mind to process life as it is, rather than as you think it should be. When you consider things like the stars, our affairs don't seem to matter very much, do they? Set peace of mind as your highest goal and organize your life around it. Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder about what makes the universe exist. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. The Word of God is like an anchor. Each time you read it, you are putting your anchor in the ground and holding on. Disgraceful for the soul to give up when the body is still going strong.